Jake and Marisa, back in for more live reactions.
Kaitou, Sentai, Lupinranger.
This is Keisatsu, Sentai, Patranger. Pew pew, pew 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 pew. Alright, so, another week, and, random thing.
Oh, screw it.
Yeah, random. Just about to fall on the ground again. Random screw on the coffee table. So, anyway.
I'm not sure what that came out of, but I'm sure we'll find out eventually when it falls apart.
No, I think that was just from, like, the tool bag or something.
Oh, okay.
I think I was just cleaning some stuff up, and I found that amongst random bits. Anyway, so I did actually find out in the comments that, like, I'm not 100% sure if this is confirmed.
But if the comments on our last video are to be believed, there are going to be
51 episodes. So we're close to the end. We were off. We didn't think it was going to be over 50 because we'd already gotten 2 preemptions, but I guess it is going to run over that 1 year mark.
Or maybe they'll run the last 2 back to back.
Doubtful.
As a sort of big finale event.
I'd be surprised. I don't think they're going to do it that way. Just because,
But I want them to.
Why?
So that I can see how it ends.
Yeah, I know, but do you want to do 2 videos back to back in a week, or how would you?
I mean, I guess there's that. But I'm finding this exciting, and I'm on the edge of my seat.
You want to see how it all ends. I understand. So we'll get to that in a moment. As far as news in Power Rangers, we do have, I think it was announced, like, I forget exactly when it was announced, but I realized I didn't mention it before. Battle for the Grid is coming in April. That's going to be the new Power Rangers game coming to console and PC, and that is going to be...
Jake's Steam account is going to get more use than it has since Portal 2.
Yep, almost certainly. That is, it's going to be somewhat similar to Legacy Wars, and that it is going to be a Ranger, it's going to be a Power Rangers fighting game, but apparently it is going to have a completely different set of game mechanics, different levels, etc., etc. So it's not going to play the same way.
Well, that makes sense, because it's going to be played on much more, to be fair, robust systems.
Yeah, exactly.
With far more buttons.
And we'll be having multiple characters with different skins, which should be interesting as more announcements on that roll out. I know at the very least, it's definitely heavy on Mighty Morphin at the moment, but we'll see who else might be in the roster. I've heard that we're looking at maybe about 15 in the roster, and
I'll bet you there'll be DLC for more.
There's definitely going to be DLC, and I believe multiple skins may allow multiple people on the same character model, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that. I may have misread that.
I don't know, man. Maybe, because the way things have been going lately, I could see it being DLC.
Yeah.
Or I could see it being something you have to unlock through loot boxes.
Fair
because
enough.
Everyone's doing loot boxes now.
But like I know, for instance, that like Lord Draken and at least one of his evolutions he's going to be a character, and at least one of his evolutions will be a skin.
Well, it makes sense for an individual to have more than one skin for themselves if an individual has more than one thing.
Exactly.
Like seeing Tommy having a green, a white, and a red skin would make sense.
There's also
but applying a skin make someone into a completely different person doesn't really make sense.
There's also going to be like a Mighty Morphin Green Ranger Tommy along with the alternate form from the Bat in the Sun YouTube videos. That's also popped up in the Legacy Wars as well. It's just sort of a, it's sort of a more heavily...
Bat in the Sun?
It's a YouTube channel. They do sort of fan film fighting videos between various characters, so it's like, who would win? Scorpion from Mortal Kombat or Tommy from Power Rangers?
Apparently they're so influential that their version of Tommy is going in the video game.
Yeah. Well, he's done, he
Impressive.
Well, he's work directly with them, and so he's appeared in their videos before, and so there's that existing connection.
Pardon his sad little sounds. He went to the veterinarian today, and he's still emotionally scarred.
And they were the ones who produced that. I believe they were involved in the production of the Legacy Wars Street Fighter crossover short film.
Oh, were they?
I think they may have been. They were one of the multiple production companies involved in that. Like, I know there were like 4 different companies involved in making that happen, but I think they may have been the production team on that. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. And then in other YouTube Power Rangers things, I know that there's been the, is Power Rangers dead thing going around because some YouTube analysts told Bruno at MMPR Toys that Power Rangers was a dead brand, and everybody's like, what? No. So I did a whole thread on that, and I understand why some people think it is, but those people are wrong, and they just don't know what's going on. They think it's dead because it's not what it was in the 90s, and because they don't know that it's still running, more or less consistently for 25 years.
I'm looking at you, Parks and Rec scriptwriters.
Yeah, exactly. And I do recognize, as I was saying, I had a whole big Twitter thread on it. It keeps trying to get that prominence back, and it keeps failing to get that prominence back, and because of that, it feels like it's dead, even though it still has a market that is not going anywhere, and hasn't really gone anywhere.
It's just overextending itself from time to time.
It keeps trying to do the big mainstream breakout, and because that keeps not working, people keep thinking, well, it's dead because they can't break into the mainstream, and all they really need to do... You don't have to be in
the mainstream. You just have to keep a steady audience. And if your steady audience is outside the mainstream, but they keep watching, they're still watching. Yeah,
and, it's been continually expanding, and they're revving up for another big, change-ups with Hasbro, so we'll see what happens with all that. So that's what's going on with the Power Rangers, and the YouTubes, and I also get why the analyst was saying, diversify your channels, etc. If you're reliant upon a singular IP, then that tends to limit you. Like, I know our channel is, super limited.
Yeah, I mean, what?
We are a very niche channel.
We've got, 1,500 subscribers?
Oh, no, we're over 2,500.
2,500? Okay. But still, we have not meet,
Yeah. Basically, if you want to be, a big YouTuber, we are not the model to follow.
No, we're not.
Because
very niche.
We alternate between these very long-form discussion videos where we do the live reactions to individual episodes, and the shorter scripted reviews that take months to produce. So, yeah, if you're alternating between hour-long videos and your scripted videos are spread out months apart, then, yeah, that's going to be an unreliable business model.
It's just the one IP.
Exactly.
I mean, 2 if you count Sentai as separate.
No, I would love to do more things with this channel. It's just, it takes a lot to script and film and put together the Power Reviews episodes right now.
It really does.
Honestly, once Power Reviews is done, I'll probably...
diversify a little?
At the very least, get into doing more frequent, shorter scripted videos. Because I do miss doing that. The retro Power run-throughs that I did, where I did a video every day for a month. I did, and Ranger logs, things like that.
It was good, but it was easier to get out because it was
very simple, and it was just me.
One camera angle and not a lot of special effects.
Yeah, and once I'm no longer focusing on a complex narrative with special effects and a cast of 11 people on a spaceship, then I imagine my free time will open back up a little bit towards just putting out quick turnaround scripted videos much more easily. Conversations in Context was a quick sort of 1 week turnaround, and same thing with the X-Save Rider log. which I do still intend to do the build ride-along. I'm just really focused on getting these Power Review scripts done right now. I'm working on episode.
Sorry for bouncing so much. I was having trouble getting comfortable.
I'm working on episode 93 right now.
I'm sat on 3 couch cushions to make me not, like, disparate height.
But, anywho, so enough about all different Power Rangers YouTube videos. Let's get started on this one.
Yeah, this is not a Power Rangers YouTube video.
It is us diversifying into Super Sentai with episode 48 of
Kaitou Sentai Lupinranger.
This is Keisatsu Sentai Patranger, the real face behind the mask.
Right. This is where they're clickbaiting me with the potential of the Lupins showing their faces.
Oh, it's a little loud. Hey.
Some of the people that used to live here.
Ooh. Claws. Scratch it. He wants to know. Well, all of them have first and last names.
Yeah, but I don't think we've ever heard his before.
Oh, I'm sure we have. It's just been a long time. Oh. Okay. So there's no deeper motivation there. He's like, I felt like it.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he just felt like, being evil, apparently.
Oh no, he wanted the stuff.
Yeah.
I want the stuff, so I'm going to steal the stuff. And possibly kill the owner, which he did.
Yeah, the liquidation collection piece is definitely a problem.
She's looking for Sequoia.
Yeah. They're expecting to be, under surveillance. Could skip down to an extent. Aww. She's gotten to like being their friends.
She's also gotten to like Juru.
Exactly.
It feels like home. That's what those like shots
it's true.
are supposed to show us. They're just shots of the room.
Yep.
This is home to her now.
Yep.
She's getting Misty over a table.
Well, also, having them here as their regular customers. Hey, goody. Yep. Mysterious treasures left by the phantom thief Arsene Lupin, known as the Lupin Collection, have been stolen by the ganglers. The thieves who fight to recover what they have lost. The police who fight to protect world peace. Whose side are you on? Yami no nakade Uteki wa aru silhouette Kono shutai Shiretakeria, catch me if you can. Destiny yokoku suru Honto no nuchi wo rikai suru monodake ni hikari hanatsu Mongai Fushutsu no collection.
Hold up, Lupin, run if you can. Gonna chase you up,
Ubai
and where you
Keisatsu
are,
Ushinai Shitoku wo Tokatsu Tame Daru Mawase
hold up,
Lupin
run
Sametu
if you
Guru
can.
Chase you up Yatsura ni adu Azayaka ni Lupinranger.
But not angels, it's showdown. We're getting near the end, but I think we're finally getting it.
Yeah, I feel pretty good, at the very least on our timing.
Yeah, our time, we ended correctly that time.
I'm sure there are little bits in there that I'm still not getting.
Well, I'm sure there will still be little bits in there that we haven't got, but it's over.
So yeah, now they know about Noel. Oh, that's a good point. He modified them for human use, but not for his own use. That's why he always needed them firing off the trains. That never occurred to me.
Which means that he could pretty much only use the green one on his own as a safecracker.
Yeah. He only used Cyclone as a safecracker. Oh, and Siren is a trigger machine. I was a little uncertain for a bit there, but it does have a trigger. Like that. Oh, they're triangulating where she's been showing up. Whoa! Hey, there she is. What's Ghosh up to? I'm amused that Kyrie's just holding Goody rather than floating him on the string like they usually do. Huh. Wow, she's really tempting them to come and get him. That was pretty blatant.
Yeah, she is off the rocker. Yes, sir. Yeah, they're gonna save Noel. Relax, Goody. What?
Mustn't. Why?
Oh, stuff it, Kogure!
Yeah, so?
Yeah, we know it's a trap.
It's obviously a trap. What? Really?
It's the same agreement the Lucas had with each other. If one of us falls, the other has to keep going.
Yeah, but even so.
I mean, I know it's kind of cold and all that, but Kogure's trying.
Yeah.
The thing of it is he may be the only one who's actually capable of that. I'm pretty sure the rest of the Lucas are not capable of living up to that promise that, you know, they'll abandon one another and go on.
That's true, she does. You need to go after Ghosh. You need to get her pieces. A little putting their VS changers together in that, you know, solidarity thing.
They found a loophole.
A loophole. Oh, hey, Dogranio. Also, you guys should probably have morphed before. He's just chilling there in a leather seat with what looks to be like a bottle of brandy.
Instamorph! At least they didn't take their time. At the No, they have. I was going to say, the Patranger fought her with her new thing. Yes, they have. And
yeah,
they got
her
toasted.
But she's not using it right now. She's just using her Gatling guns.
Playing with them.
Yeah, oh yeah, she was playing with them the other day, too.
I know.
She's... Oh, and here comes the cutter.
I don't think she wants to finish them off until the Lupins show up.
Yeah, she's having too much fun.
I think part...
Whoa. Okay, that apparently has a lightsaber mode. That's not great. That was not great.
I think part of her game is revealing the Lupins' real identities. And she needs the Patrangers to be there to witness it. And that's why they're not dead yet.
Maybe. I don't know if she's even thinking it through by that much. I think she's just having fun.
Well, she also wants them to watch her execute Noelle.
I think that's her primary focus right now.
What I'm saying is, the only reason they're not dead is because Gouch has a show to put on for them.
Yeah, but I think this is the show, not the reveal of Lupins. Whoop, there we go. Of course. Did you guys... What?
Did you not think they were going to show up?
Why did you guys also not morph before showing up here? Time to take X back. Yes, Lupinrangers. Saki has such weird facial expressions sometimes. Okay. What, he wants to see their faces?
He wants to know who they are.
Yeah. I haven't really thought about it, but like his
the Ganglers don't know who they are either.
Well, the look of the top half of his face is very similar to their masks.
Kogra is freaking the frick out. I caught myself.
Hey, Zamiga.
Getting back to his old tricks. I Yep. But it doesn't matter. He's trying to hold them to it.
Okay. Why are they why aren't they just fighting? So the deal is...
Because the deal is they have to reveal and
So if they reveal and be Ghost, then... Okay.
Of course, that's assuming you believe Dongrio is going to be true to his word.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I will give Ghost credit for at least, holding to her deal of letting the rest of them go. Yeah. Okay, so it's reveal time. Okay. So you guys, could you cover your eyes, please? Yeah? No? Okay. Okay.
God, you gotta go so freaking slow.
They gotta take off the hats, too.
Sakuya looks like he's gonna die. He's not even the one taking the mask off.
I shouldn't be laughing at this. I shouldn't be laughing at this. It's just... it's not like their faces are that different without the masks. So yeah, they are the thieves everyone's been talking about. Saki is destroyed. Well, that part of the game is over.
What the hell, work at your...
I love that they're that well known in the community. and nobody put it. Like, I wasn't expecting anyone else to know who they were. But apparently, they're really well known in the community.
Now, only one person said that. It's entirely possible it's just another one of their regulars.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I mean, they can't
Oh, this
get
is
by...
a nice morph. Oh, this is a very nice morph.
They can't get by on just the Patrangers as customers.
That's true. That was a great real-time morph.
I loved it. You have weird feet, Gauche.
What the?
What?
What's happening?
Now is not the time for this.
The video just crashed. That's unfortunate. Why did the video just crash? Alright, I think I'm gonna pause this.
Okay. We'll be back.
We'll be right back.
When this is fixed.
Just pausing for some slight technical issues. We'll be right back. And we're back. Alright, so managed to get it going again. And we got queued up right to where the...
Yeah, the hardware was fine. We just lost the stream, but we're back.
So here we go. Lupinranger. So there are their capes. And we got to watch that lovely Instamorph again. Or, I'd call it a real-time morph.
And there's Gauche's weird feet.
Yeah, because she's got high heels as her feet.
Her feet are shoes, and that's just creepy.
A little bit.
And I mean, she could be wearing shoes, but the fact that her shoes have toes is the part that's creepy.
Yeah. Whee! Well, they're just going all around the staircase and having fun there.
Then again, there was that pair of high heels.
Sternum shot. Oh dear. That's, yeah, her lightsaber attack thing.
Are we demorphing now?
No, it doesn't look like it.
Unlike the Patrangers, we took that without demorphing.
Oh, so
Patrangers, get up and help!
One bit that I found amusing in the reveal is when he sees Amigo just going... That was adorable. Dogranio,
yeah!
You are so lazy. What? Oh!
They're splitting in midair.
Oh, wow. They did that so that Keisatsu could take the shot. Nice. That was clever. And very Keisatsu. Like, he's definitely got his issues.
Huh?
Oh, she has
there are
a
monsters.
New experiment. You set up this game, you don't get help. Whoa. Whoa. What?
He's revoking her pieces.
His piece apparently allows him to collect other pieces.
You've been doing whatever you want. Now it's my turn.
Interesting. I think I saw like an Omega Morpher from SPD and a Rhino Morpher from Jungle Fury in there. Zamigo liked that move. Like, she's distracted. Shoot her. Sure.
Gauche is in major trouble.
Yep.
And so are you.
It's awkward. He also should have his Morpher back. Do they have his Morpher? Umika, he does not want to talk to you at the moment. Nobody wants to talk to you. Yeah, there you go. Keep focused. There we go. You got this Morpher. Keeping focus on the ganglers. These are smart things.
Because here they come.
Her evil multi-safe bunny. Oh, Gauche is unhappy now.
Gauche is very unhappy now.
This is going to be it
I
for
think
Gauche.
she, in some, yeah, she's toast. But I do think she's going to, it's an emergency situation, so yes, repair.
Yep.
But Gauche is now going to take out her frustration at having all her toys taken away from her.
And he went for Kaitou.
Well, the way I figure it, he probably went for Kaitou change because he's just as much in the doghouse as they are with Patranger
to an extent, yeah.
because there's no way they're not going to believe that he knew.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he made it very clear.
Yeah.
All right, getting their battleizers on. Good call. Oh, he's
We're going straight for the finishers.
Yeah, not even. Yep. Oh, whoa.
I think we just exploded the whole park.
No,
she's not
survived.
dead.
I didn't even realize that the ends of her fingers are fingernails.
They are.
What are you doing? What?
She tore her own safe out.
What? Is she pulling a merge? What happens when you put your gold safe in? Okay, apparently that made him grow. Well, I guess that's...
And chuck them halfway across the city.
Well, they used...
Kichiro's not doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, take Cyclone back. There we go, getting X-Emperor going. Nice.
And we're back from the commercial break.
Yep. This is an interesting wide shot. We don't see them fighting in settings like this all that often.
He's running.
Where they're shorter than the buildings.
Well, they're shooting at him. They're not even morphed and they're shooting at him.
Well, I mean they're morphed, but they're not.
Excuse me, they're not even.
Oh, I love this. Oh wow, these are some great shots here.
Okay, so we've got.
They're
Umika
really
and
going all
Toma
out in
the
sword
main
fight.
one. Kairou's driving Magnum and.
Well, Magnum's independent operator.
Oh right, Magnum's an independent operator. I was trying to figure out who was where, and yeah, Magnum's an independent operator. That's how it works out.
Here we go.
Good striker kick.
Yep. Yeah, because Victory Striker combines well with Good Striker. Whew. Yeah, what now? So that's the end of Ghosh.
And the end of Juror.
Koguri should be able to raid something like that. Oh, that's interesting. What?
Now hang on, this one usually stops.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's just glitching. Come on.
Please, please, please.
I hate this sound. I'm gonna wave this remote to remind myself that this is where this sound is happening so I can edit it out later. There it goes, and it's gone. But I find it interesting, magic carries Splash. Because Splash isn't a dial fighter, it's a trigger machine, basically.
So it can't fly.
So it can't fly, but
I don't know why they still have Splash.
Magic has the hand.
Oh, Sakuya's really messed up.
Aww. He's really upset.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know. I was just reiterating.
You wouldn't dare.
Yeah, this is the end of the episode. There it is. What do you mean you wouldn't dare? That seems like a reasonable place to end the episode. Oh, wow. Vigranio's coming out next time.
As a thief, as a policeman.
Okay. Huh. That's interesting. So at this point we know there are 3 episodes left, because this was 48. But Degranio's actually getting in on the action next time. That's interesting. So I wonder what this endgame's going to be. But yeah, we're getting big showdowns with Degranio and Zamigo are the only 2 left, really.
Yeah. That was an interesting way for Gouch to go out.
Yeah,
I'm ripping my own safe out and shoving it in a rabbit.
I mean, it got us a Zord fight. I guess that was kind of the point of it. That was very strange.
Yeah. It couldn't have been like, with my last dying breath, I make him grow. No.
Well, she didn't
because she doesn't have her toys.
Exactly. But it looks like Degranio has the ability to make himself grow, so that's a thing.
Well, she may have had that ability this whole time, just chosen not to use it, because, frankly, once you go big, you go home.
Maybe.
Because nobody has ever survived a Zord fight.
Yeah, well, generally. Very rarely. But I don't know,
Has anyone in this season survived a Zord fight?
I think they did well. I think Lyman managed to beat them his first time growing big, because he had a piece that allowed him to grow big. And I think the last experimental monster was the same thing. If I recall correctly. I could be wrong.
Correctly, yeah.
So yeah, we got our big reveal. I'm sorry if I laughed. It just... They've stretched it out so long and they made it so overly dramatic, and it's just like, I know this is very emotional for everybody. I know this is very emotional for everybody in universe, but like, it's one of those things where, yeah, it's them. It's the people they look exactly like, just without a hat on.
The people who wear those colors every day when you see them at their restaurant.
It's not like, their facial structures are that different, or you only see them in shadows or anything. Like, you're looking at them, they take off their masks, and yeah, they still look like that.
And they go through their daily life still dressed in red, blue, and yellow.
But, I mean, I know it's a superhero trope, Batman and Superman especially. And, Green Lantern just has that, and Green Arrow just has that, and sometimes a hood or a hat. And, I feel like it's just a little bit different, in this particular setting, because, like, I feel like it's a little less jarring, in animation and comics, where people's faces...
Jacob?
They all kind of look the same.
Jacob.
Yeah.
May I point you to Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman?
Yeah, I know, and that was silly.
Where it was also live action.
That was always silly. That was always silly. Every time that we do the Superman story, it's always silly.
And how about Supergirl?
Supergirl is also silly, and that's the whole...
I was just supposed to believe that Supergirl without the glasses is... oh yeah, these glasses make Kat not look anything like Supergirl.
Kara. I mean, she also pulls her hair back. So.
Oh, well.
There's that.
I'm just saying, this is a well-worn trope.
I feel like it's usually, in like comics and cartoons, you have more of a suspension of disbelief. And a lot of times their secret identities are people who, not everybody knows, and not too many people directly interact with both the superhero personality and the civilian personality.
But then you have shows like Supergirl, where Kat is interacting with both of them, or The Adventures of Lois and Clark, where Lois is interacting with both of them.
Well, yeah.
And snogging one of them, and still can't figure it out.
Well, Lois and Clark, yeah, that was always funny. And they did not keep up that charade for that long. I think they probably only kept it for like maybe the first season.
Well, I'm pretty sure Supergirl also sort of tacitly acknowledged that Kat had it figured out, but just hadn't said anything.
Yeah, well, I mean, they at least did the one thing that they have going for them on Supergirl, and they've got this. They had the same thing going for them here. Was on Supergirl they have Martian Manhunter as a shapeshifter, so you can pass it off as a resemblance. Because you have one of them just disguised as the other, and
then they did this.
And they're like, okay,
Kogure.
I guess you just look a lot the same. And they did the same thing with Kogure, so that's why they were able to dismiss it until they were able to put together that, okay, no,
it is them.
It is them. But like, this big slow reveal, it's like, okay, if you just look at their faces for a little while, and then look at the faces of the people you know for a little while, it can just be like, yeah, that's you. Yeah, that's you.
I think it is. Also, like...
And yeah, I know, I'm making fun of a trope that's been in media forever. It's always silly and goofy. It always
You know the one that gets me?
What?
Is that a lot of the times after a fight, they have, like, a bandage on their face or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, at no point did they ever be able... Somehow, the Lupinrangers always healed faster than the Patrangers, so they could go back to Juror without without any... And then, same fight, the Patrangers still have their Band-Aids on, and they're coming for tea.
Yeah.
And it's just like... Lupinrangers... Because, narratively speaking, they have to have taken those off, otherwise they're just going to be going, isn't that the same black eye that...
Like, and then when you get into other, like, live-action superhero shows, like, for instance, Arrow and Flash. Arrow...
Which I don't watch. So.
He's got the hood and mask, yeah. But he's also always in shadow. He at the very least, during the first season, I think probably throughout much of the series, anytime he interacts with somebody who might recognize him, he uses a voice changer.
Yeah.
So you see this... figure in the shadows with a voice changer, you've got no certainty of who it is.
And Matt Murdock is frickin' blind, so he's got a pretty airtight alibi.
And it also, it covers up a good chunk of his face, and he's also always fighting in shadow.
Meanwhile,
and then
Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, just to give...
They don't care.
I'd guess.
And then we get into the Flash, who you'd never get to look at for long enough, really.
Because he's moving too fast.
And anytime that he interacted with anyone who he knew, you know what he would do? He'd just vibrate his head, so you couldn't focus on his features, and it would distort his voice.
You're kidding me.
It works.
He turned his head into a vibrator.
He'd just do this, and then his features all get blurred, and his voice gets distorted, and you can't tell who it is when you're talking to him.
It's like when you talk through a fan.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes perfect sense.
It does.
As silly as, kind of silly as it is, it makes perfect sense. Whereas, anything like Superman, especially Superman, where you have the full face in full view so often, and you're directly interacting.
Glasses don't make that much of a difference.
I mean, that stuff does happen. There was...
I don't know, maybe I shouldn't say that because of the number of people who early on couldn't figure out that I was both Mayo and Kay. Maybe glasses did make that much of a difference.
I mean, we also do have a wig, and
that's true.
You have a whole different costume. There's apparently a funny story. I saw somebody mentioning about Christopher Reeve, when filming Superman. He'd go out and people would be like, "Oh wow, Superman!" when he'd go out to eat in costume during breaks. And but it would only be if he went out to eat in the Superman costume. If he went out to eat in his Clark Kent costume, nobody recognized him. There is the costume itself is very eye-catching, and you focus on it.
Which you could say the same for the Lupinrangers. Look at their flashy brocade jackets and their...
The thing is, though, if you're really focused on, is this person that person, is this person that person, you're not focusing on how they're dressed. You're focusing on their face.
Right.
And
the real part that makes it implausible is the part where they had the consideration and looked at it.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't think about it and you aren't looking for it, I could see how you would miss it.
Exactly.
But they
or if you've already ruled it out. You know, okay, passing resemblance. And then you're like, okay, we're going to pay attention to what they look like and what they sound like. Then you're going to be like, okay, they look exactly and sound exactly like these people we interact with daily.
And yet, one of them is over here, and one of them is over here. Because Kogra is dressed up.
Which they'd already figured out was a thing.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you know, the children thing. Like,
the children thing was really epic that they remembered that. That was really kind of cool.
Like...
Once again, though, the children, yellow, blue, and red, why does nobody ever notice that the Rangers or the Sentai people are color-coded in daily life?
I'm also just amused that Degranio just chose to care about it this week.
He's just like, hey, gosh.
He chose to have them reveal their identities because he's just like, just curious. I mean, like, you know, it doesn't matter one way or another. He was just like, you know what? I'm kind of curious. Can you just tell me who you are? And they're like, okay.
No. He did promise to let Noelle go.
Well, if they also were able to beat Gauche.
But it was part of the agreement.
Yeah, that was.
So it's
part
not
of the
like they were
agreement.
just like, oh yeah, he wants to know, so we'll tell him.
But you know what I think what I prefer to think of as being funny. How did they keep their identity secret all this time? Nobody asked them. If you think about it,
nobody has ever asked them to take their mask off.
Nobody asked them. At no point did they say, Kaitou, could you take? I want to check some. It is you. I knew it. Knew it. You know how I knew it? I'm a cat. We're having way too much fun making fun of this.
I think we're getting way too loud for the neighbors, too.
They handled it, I think, about as well as you can. You know, they did have a nice dramatic moment. They made it emotional.
I feel so bad for Sakura right now.
I do feel bad for Sakura. He just, man. It's a trope that that's used in so many different things that I just can't. The suspension of disbelief isn't there for the you know, eye masks being a big reveal. Like, you could do that pretty much in any superhero show, and I'm going to laugh when somebody takes off this tiny little mask, and it's like, it's you!
Now, in all fairness, they took off their top hats, too.
They did also take off their top hats, including Umika. Their tiny little... Oh, wait, who are you? That's who...
Hers is actually just a top hat-shaped fascinator, but yeah.
Yeah. Wait, where did Umika go? Oh, there you are! I was just talking to someone who looked just like you. Where did Umika go? So... Enough of making fun of this. I will say there were some very gorgeous visual elements in this episode.
I really liked the way that they just used a few quick camera angles there to establish the emotional connection between Umika and Juror as home.
Yeah, I like that.
It was a very quick thing, blink and you miss it, but
they lingered well enough to...
Well, they lingered just the right amount. And that's the thing. It was very short, but
I liked how even morphed. You could tell that Sakia didn't want to meet their eyes. I liked how the Patrangers handle things maturely after the reveal, where even
Keiichiro.
Yeah,
it's like,
well,
this is an emergency situation.
He had already figured it out at that point. Same thing with Tsukasa, but I like that. After the reveal, they kept things actually professional, which, you know, they They don't always do, specifically
Especially
Keitra. But he's come around on them at this point, which is good. You know, we got one of those Big Bang finishers, which are always shiny. Interesting choice to pull away and show the explosion in the distance. That was an interesting visual choice. I thought they
that was some serious splodiness.
I thought they did a great job with those real-time morphs, especially the Lupinranger real-time morph, where we got to linger for just a moment.
I would say the Lupins had a real-time morph, and the Patrangers had an instamorph.
That was an instamorph. But I did like that little linger moment of them helmetless and capeless, because the cape doesn't materialize until after the helmet, and I thought that was a nice little touch as well. And that Zord fight was quite nice.
And there's the Patranger shooting at him from the ground.
Like I love when they do that juxtaposition of on the ground versus the big fight in the city, and they keep it locked on with sweeping back and forth. Oh no, there's one over there, and they sweep the camera over there. Oh, and they're shooting back and forth, and it really
still got the Patrangers in the foreground.
Great sense of immersion.
Yeah.
Go Busters
did the same thing.
Did the same thing. Again, it's not something that comes up very often, but I love it when they do that.
Because it does help with the scale.
It's
because otherwise,
great scale, great immersion, and just more visually dynamic.
When you always see the Zord fights the way you always did before,
yeah.
Eventually some part of you starts seeing guys in cardboard boxes punching each other. But this kind of camera work prevents that.
Yeah. It's prettier, too. It's just prettier. So I love it whenever they do those Zord fights. And I like that we had that little moment with Zords flying away at the end. I thought that was...
That was sad.
That was a nice melancholy note to end it on, which felt appropriate.
We have to leave.
And yeah, so it looks like they're doing what I had previously suspected, which is...
I feel like the only one who's not in trouble over this is going to be Goody Striker, because the Patrangers are pretty used to the fact that Goody Striker is just a wild card.
Yeah, exactly.
And he wouldn't have told them. It's Noel who's in the doghouse.
He's also just a,
they need him.
They treat him as a piece of equipment, basically. Right. They're not going to hold a piece of equipment accountable.
Right. Unlike the Lupinrangers, who treat him as an entity.
Yeah, and
Which is probably why he prefers to hang out with the Lupins.
I think they're more likely to cut Noel slack because of what he just went through. And they basically had been already keeping him at this distance because they basically knew that he knew and wasn't telling them.
Yeah, but I feel like they might be a little extra betrayed because he knew that not only who they were, but knew that they were becoming friends with them unbeknownst to them.
Maybe
that
to an extent.
Makes a difference.
If
he knew who the Patrangers were and the Patrangers were not a part of the Lupin... Excuse me. If he knew who the Lupins were and the Lupins were not a part of the Patrangers' regular life, that would be one thing. On the other hand, he kept bringing them to Juror.
That is also true. But looking at the preview for next week and how they've been behaving these last 3 episodes, I get the impression that they are going to handle this maturely moving forward. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the big things that they wanted to make sure to establish before the reveal of their identities was that they wanted to have the reveal after there had been sufficient character growth on the part of mostly the Patrangers, where they'd be able to handle that reveal without losing their cool and, driving them underground, chasing them down, and getting all obsessive. And I like that they've finally moved past that obsession, specifically for Keisatsu.
I'm getting snuggled.
Yeah, Oliver's a good boy. Alright, so I think that's a wrap. I've got to run and do some tutoring this evening.
I've got to do some snuggling.
So I look forward to seeing the final trio of episodes as we're moving forward. And hopefully we'll be getting some teasers coming up on what's coming next afterwards.
Woohoo!
We're getting towards that point. But until then, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.
Oh, we scared the cat.
You scared the cat. Sorry, Allie.